Hello and welcome to Cedar's Adventure. Yes, today I build a roller coaster, the first one in the park. But before I get there, I am just adding in this quick little detail here. This is water storage or something like that. I did see a picture somewhere when looking on Google Maps of a theme park, and they had some water storage. Can't remember where now. So I just wanted to add that in there. And then here I'm quickly just building a centerpiece for the very front of the park. As you come through the gates and you walk up the main path, in front of you there will be this centerpiece. I want it to be like a water fountain with a clock, so I do that by filling a square of water, and then I shall use the path covers to cover up the bits of water that I don't want, as you can see there, which makes it look like a round pond. And then the bit behind it I shall try and make a clock face using the path sections. So this doesn't take me too long. I think it's quite nice. I wanted a little something in the middle there. So I'll just let you watch me do that, and then when I get onto the coaster I shall be right back. So, coaster time. I wanted to build an aerodynamics looping coaster. If you don't know who Aerodynamics is, they are a roller coaster company who built looping roller coasters, mine trains, and I think they made log flumes as well. They were around in the 70s, 80s, and then they went bankrupt. I'm not sure where, early 2000s I think, when building X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. They definitely pioneered the way the coasters have ended up today. They were so advanced for their time. They didn't really have the technology to make what they were trying to build, but they did it anyway. And I guess for the time, the coasters were great. They are known to be quite rough. I have ridden a few. Viper at Magic Mountain is one of them, and it was fun but really rough. So yeah, I just wanted to try and create a kind of aerodynamics looping style coaster. It's not a great big one such as like Vortex or Anaconda, but this is kind of a smaller scale one. Not as small, if you remember Python at Busch Gardens, it's a bit bigger than that one. So I put it there just to build it, and then I saved it as a blueprint, and I'm going to move it to put it where I want it in the park. Once it's placed and I'm happy with where it is, I am going to start adding on my own custom supports. I use the wooden sticks from the dining set to create the kind of frame structure on the lift hill, and I also use the launch coaster track to make the coaster supports on the corkscrews. These are something that I think Arrow did. I'm pretty sure it was Arrow. They would have these big kind of frames over the corkscrews, and something I wanted to try and imitate in the game. So I just, as you can see here, used the launch coaster track. I basically sunk it in the ground and then just built a big like kind of top hat shape, as we call it. And then saved that as a blueprint, and then just placed it down on top of where my corkscrews are. Coloured them white, added some walls around the bottom with a path cover to cover up where the tunnel would be, where the track is underground, and I think they look pretty good. It is something I used to do in Roller Coaster Tycoon as well, so I've just kind of carried that over from that game into this game. And then I just used the kind of standard, the pillars that come with the game, just to kind of support the track. I mean, the supports that come with the ride aren't too bad, but I just like to do my own. And then I like to put my own footers on using the cube from the pipes and vents. As I said, the supports that come on it, they're not too bad. I just think if you're trying to create a particular style with a ride, then doing your own supports can help you achieve that. Here I made a blueprint of the lift hill supports, so I could just kind of copy and paste those down, kind of make the process a bit quicker. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on doing some supports here. Doesn't take me too long. I have chopped out some footage for you because it did take me a long time to do it. But as I said, you only have to do the lift and the brake run in this kind of way that I'm doing right now, and the rest of the track can just be done with the pillars, which doesn't take too long. So here I'm using a support killer which comes in the Shy Guys set 3. You can kind of just place that on the ground and it gets rid of the supports that you don't want. If you don't want to use a support killer, you can also use the bushes, which I sometimes use as well. A bush just gets rid of the support exactly the same way. And I think it kind of clears up the whole thing so you can really see what supports you made. It can get quite tricky when you're actually building your own supports when you have the ones that are already there in the way, because it starts to get a huge big mess on the screen and you can't see what you did and what was already there. So sometimes it's quite a good idea to actually remove them first. It's up to you if you do it. I'm just adding in another little bit here. This coaster, I am really aiming for it to be super real. I'm going to build a transfer track and a queue line with a fast pass queue. The game doesn't actually come with fast pass queues, but I shall just build a fake one to make it look like it. Gonna add catwalks and everything you would kind of find on a roller coaster that kind of looks real. I'm going to try and do the station with some station gates. Yeah, and just try and make it look really good. So right now I'm just going around the whole coaster using the piece of vent, which is from the Pipes and Vents set, and these I place underneath every support on the coaster, and they look like footers. A footer is the base of a support on a roller coaster, which is in the ground and it's made out of concrete normally, and the support would bolt onto that. It's just a little touch I like to add just to give it that kind of extra bit of detail. And now I'm using a piece of square pillar. I sink this into the round pillar to join up the round pillar to the actual track, as the in-game pillars can only be raised at quarter height values, and these square pillars from the Shy Guys set 3 can be raised at any height you like, so I really just put those in just to really attach that track to those supports. So now I'm going in with the catwalks. I think this is something that always makes a coaster look good. This is just from the Catwalks mod set. Just kind of add it on either side and then just build your way up each piece at a time. So you would normally find the catwalks on the lift hill. This is for evacuation purposes if there's a breakdown or something, and also you have the catwalks on the brake run at the end of the coaster, which I'm doing right now. Unfortunately, there are no diagonal catwalks. There's none in the mod set, and I can't really, if I make my own diagonal ones I probably can, but they just look completely different to the ones that are in the game, so that's one thing I have actually left out, but I don't think it's really too noticeable. And now I'm just terra painting the area. This is something I always like to do. I always like to add like a grey concrete kind of terra paint underneath the all the supports to give it make it look like they kind of dug up that area when they were building it and put the concrete in, and then just kind of where the track is, I kind of like to put in that kind of browny kind of dead grass look. I think maybe where the sun can't get to the grass or something and the track's kind of making that area underneath it. Maybe I'm thinking about that too much, but it's something I like to do. So here I'm just kind of plotting out the paths, adding in some station floors, and then here I'm going in with the gates from Shy Guys set 4 to make kind of station gates where you would queue up. Unfortunately, you can't get rid of the rails on the entrance and exit, so they're always kind of in the way. I just kind of look past that. It doesn't really bother me too much. And I'm just going to use pieces from the hangar set, which are an in-game piece of scenery. They are actually really good. I really enjoy the hangar set, and you can make really good stations using such simple pieces, and I really enjoy that set. So I use that one quite a lot for stations at the moment, I think. And I'm just kind of giving you like a basic kind of coaster station where they have the raised bit in the middle. If you put a fence down on a sloped path at the moment, it doesn't conform to the shape of your sloped path. So to get around that at the moment, I actually raise the ground up to level with the path that I have the slope on, and then when you put the path down, it actually goes on a slope. Maybe that will change in the next few updates or something, because it's a shame that you can't drag a fence up a path slope. So here I'm just trying to make a some sort of like a, well, in the beginning, because I've called the coaster Flying Cobra, I wanted to try and make like a cobra looking kind of logo sign using some random pieces. That was an absolute fail. I've actually cut out what I did make because it looked like a penguin. So I just kind of ended up just putting a couple of random shapes together to make something so random, but regardless, it looks quite cool on the front of the station. I also built it again on the front of the queue so you can see where the entrance is. And making queue canopies is always good. There are some in-game ones which are quite nice. Or you can just make your own, like I have here, using just some corner roof pieces from one of the Shy Guy sets. Putting a large fence around the coaster is always good. To stop people from going in underneath in the coaster area. So I always put one around the kind of the outside edge of the queue line to kind of guard that. So here I'm just putting the catwalks on, and now I'm going to go and build the transfer track. So this is using the track edit mod. Using that mod I can actually get the coasters to merge. So I've put that down. It's a bit trial and error, as you saw. And once I kind of got the coaster in line, I delete the station piece, recolor it so it looks the same, and then just add some supports, make a little kind of warehouse around it, and make it look like a transfer track. I think in real life, where on the floor there would be like a piece of switch track that would switch so the train could go into that transfer area. And then when they don't want to use a transfer track, they switch it the other way, so then the train can go in just as normal back into the station. I'm using similar pieces for the transfer here as I use for the station, just to kind of make it all match. And something I often forget to do is put a staircase on the side, so that the maintenance people can actually get up into the transfer track. So this is something I remembered this time to do on this ride. As I said before, I'm literally trying to think of everything that there could be in real life to add in. So that's kind of the transfer area done. Here I built a path that goes from the backstage area that I built in the previous episodes, that kind of goes along the outside of the coaster up to that kind of maintenance area, and then that will join back into the main entrance, so it's kind of like a shortcut for the employees of the park. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, then leave me a comment down below. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm going to leave you now just to watch the end of this clip, and I shall put some screenshots in at the end of what I've done as before. And thanks for watching. See you next time.